If you're struggling to let go of the past, watch this video. Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm back with another video that is so dear to my heart. I honestly feel like all my content is dear to my heart because I try to make it at the exact moment that I learned the lesson or I'm currently learning the lesson, so it's a little bit more raw and authentic. Specifically, recently, I have been struggling to let go of the past, so that is why I am making this video. We hold on to the past because we don't know who we are without it. We hold on to the things we did to people, the things people did to us, the decisions that we made, a past relationship, a past job, all of the things that bring us pain, because without it, we don't have an identity. Our ego doesn't have an identity without the past. But holding on to the past is not useful like we think that it is. I think it's important to learn the lessons, but I think when the pain of the lessons continues to linger, that's when I would say you're struggling to let go. When we're sitting there and dwelling in the pain of the past, it becomes poisonous to us. It's a toxic environment for us to be in, and we cannot grow in a toxic environment. I'll add all the timestamps for this video down below so you can skip around if you really want to. But I would definitely say if you're really struggling to let go of the past like I have been, then watch this video all the way through, and I promise you by the end of it, you will be able to snap out of the days that you're in and let go of everything that is no longer serving you. P.S. If I'm touching my hair a lot, it's because I cannot stand the Dyson and I'm having a hard time right now, okay? Letting go of the past is sometimes understanding that you will never get the answers. I can't necessarily give you an answer as to why things happen in your life that are perceived as bad. I don't know why someone broke up with you. I don't know why somebody died. I don't know why you lost your job. I don't know why good people sometimes have the hardest lessons in life, and I don't know why the world is so ill. You have to look at people as if we're all somewhat carrying this disease, and that disease is the fear and pain of the past. Once you can see that most people just act out of fear, you'll start to see people differently and in more of a light of innocence. You might never get the answer from the person that ended things. You might never get the answer from the doctor as to why this happened. You might never get the answer from that job of why they had to let you go, but it is not your job to sit there and dwell on what somebody else's actions were. Ruminating about the past is not going to help you find the answer. It's not going to solve anything. It's only going to put you in a mental spiral of what could have been and never was. Give yourself a break. We go through enough as humans on a daily basis. You need to worry about you and not what somebody else's actions caused them to do. When you're trying to get answers specifically from a person, ask what is actually bothering you about not getting the answer. What is really hurting you and what is really upsetting you? Is it because you spend so much time that you need to answer from this person as to why they left you? Why do you feel like you need closure from this situation, and why do you feel like you can only get closure from a different person? Has time moved on already? Because I'm sure if you're watching this video, it actually has. So why are you looking behind you for the answers that actually lie right in front of you? This goes on to my next point, that you don't need to know the specific answer as to why something happened in your past, but all you need to know is that everything here and everything that happens is actually here to benefit you. At times, we're often faced with moments where we feel like we're never going to get through them, we're never going to get through this pain, we don't know how we're going to move on. We question our purpose, our beliefs. Is there a God? Is someone casting a spell on us? We become superstitious, and we ultimately become hopeless. But what if you held the perspective and the deep understanding that everything that happens in your life is actually here to benefit you? Everything that happens is here to elevate you and can be learned from. It's always those stories of somebody making it through a really hard time that we start to see hope in adversity. It's ironic that some of our most painful moments are actually the moments that we needed the most. Our painful moments are actually the moments that help us expand. They help us look at life from a new perspective because they force us into so much pain that we don't have a choice but to look at the circumstance differently than we have been looking at it. You can crumble from your own mind. Trust me, I have spent days where I cannot get the negative thoughts out of my head. I'm literally sitting here praying like, please God, please take away this negative thinking. Like, your mind, when it controls you, it controls you. And if you're identified with your mind and your thoughts, then it is controlling you on a daily basis. And the thing about pain and about painful life situations is you have to look back on them, and you have to almost look back on other painful situations and see, where was I able to grow? How was I able to evolve from this? And how did this shape me into the person that I am today? And not look at it as such a pessimistic thing. People who hold on to a lot of pain of the past, they haven't learned the lessons of the past. And so they think that everything happened to tear them down when everything was actually happening to teach them something. Typically, the things that we think are bad are actually serving a higher good. Even when somebody dies, we can be reminded of our own impermanence and learn to look at everything with more gratitude and hold the people that we love closer to us. And we also get a reminder that our days are numbered as well. And so if we're not being authentic to ourselves and we're not doing things that bring us joy, then we're just wasting the days. Life truly is like a video game. The more lessons you learn, aka levels that you learn, the higher you go and the more advanced you become. Unfortunately, many of us are so stuck in our past pain that we don't have the ability to move forward. We never end up seeing the light of situations because we don't allow ourselves to. We don't allow ourselves to see the love in a situation, we only see the fear. A lot of times letting go of a situation is less about the situation or the person and more about letting go of the identity that we were when we were in those situations and with those people. Having to let go of a job that no longer serves you and move to another job, yes, it's exciting, yes, it's a positive thing, but a lot of times having to let go of that identity that stayed in the job that we weren't happy in is really difficult to get through. So again, give yourself some grace because as you're going through these lessons, or aka these levels of life, you are losing an identity with each one of these lessons. If there's still pain over a situation, there's parts of that situation that you haven't let go of. The reason why you haven't let go of them is because you haven't understood the full meaning behind why they happened in the first place. Number 3 would be your past is dissolved by your presence. A beautiful trick I learned from the book The Power of Now is to ask yourself, what is my next thought going to be? Ask yourself right now, what is your next thought going to be? If you were met with silence and you actually don't know what your next thought is, that means that you were just immediately thrown into the present moment. Thrown into the present moment, our thoughts are not consuming us. We're just being. Depression lives in the past and anxiety lives in the future. A lot of times we also have anxiety because we fear the pain of the past so much that we drag it into the present and then we end up creating it in our future. Depression and anxiety cannot live in the present moment. What happened to you in the past has already happened, and what's about to happen to you in the future is literally just a hallucination. When we're so identified with our past pain, we also end up self-sabotaging our present moment so that we can predict what's going to happen in our future. Because we are not wired for change. Change is really, really scary. I hate change. I have come to terms with the fact that I hate change, and I'm sure most of you also hate change as well. Self-sabotage is thinking that you have control over what's going to happen and what is happening, and like I said before, it just allows you to predict what's going to happen by reliving your past. So if you're somebody who self-sabotages opportunities, relationships, whatever it may be, you are identified with your past. When you are sabotaging to avoid the pain, you end up just being in the cycle of pain. And when you're controlling a situation from a place of pain, you end up just creating the same exact situation from a place of pain. The magic is in the present moment, and none of these negative emotions and feelings can live in the present moment. But Taylor, what if my present moment is so horrible that I just cannot accept it? Well, like my therapist said, whatever resists persists. You're resisting the fact that your reality changed and you feel like you have no sense of control over it. But remember, everything is here to benefit you. Whatever has happened, happened, and whatever was meant to happen, happened, otherwise it wouldn't have happened. I recently had a brutal breakup with somebody where there was no explanation at all. The person just dipped out one day, and they just sit back and watch all my stories without saying a goddamn word. So hi, if you're watching this, hello. I see you. This was really hard for me because I thought that things were gonna go in a different direction. I thought that, you know, things that happened were not meant to happen, and I was in this weird like non-acceptance for so long about this situation. What I had to come to terms with the fact is that if things were not meant to happen a certain way, they wouldn't have happened that way. They would have happened a different way. And sometimes what we expect to happen is not actually what ends up happening. But again, there is a lesson in everything. Something I had to learn over the years is to drop my expectations, because when you have expectations and you're trying to predict the future and then it ends up not happening, that's when you get disappointed, and that's when you get depressed, and that's when you believe that things aren't working out for you when they actually are. It's just working out differently than you thought it would. We're so hyper-focused on what other people feel, what other people do, and how they're thinking about us, how they're acting, but we need to turn the focus onto ourselves. I've said this in multiple videos now because everything in your world stems from you. We like to turn ourselves into psychologists trying to like dissect every single situation and like why somebody did something and why this happened, and it is literally no use to you at all. When you detach and look at everything in your life as an opportunity for you to grow closer to yourself, you see that number one, everything is here to benefit you, and number two, everything that was meant to happen, that happened, was meant to happen. You get out of this loop of non-acceptance that things were supposed to go differently. identity. No, they were not. Non-acceptance is the root of suffering. I know that's not what the Buddhists believe, but that's what I believe. You need to accept that people are gonna hurt you, situations are gonna hurt you, things are gonna fall apart, and things are not gonna go as planned. And life's gonna seem unfair at times, and you're gonna wanna kick and scream and throw your head through a wall. But not accepting what is happening around us draws us further and further away from ourselves. Causes us to fall into bad habits of our mind and our outer realities. Escapism becomes the antidote of non-acceptance. And if you know anything about escapism, you know that it can be very, very dangerous, especially when you're using illegal substances or legal substances like alcohol or people or just traveling and just doing things that you know are going to distract you from the pain in your life. You cannot change the situation that you are in, accept it. The more you don't accept something, the more you are holding on to the pain and the belief that it should have been something that it wasn't. Accept that this situation caused you pain, but this situation is over now, and you should not be causing any more pain in your life than anybody else has caused or any situation has caused. You have the freedom to move on, but you have to give yourself that freedom. The more you're denying your present moment reality, the more you are staying in unhappiness. You are willingly deciding this for yourself. And the longer that you're staying in this unhappiness, the longer that you're staying away from yourself and who you're meant to become. And that is going to lead you to more depression than any person or any situation ever will. We need to start taking more accountability for the pain that we inflict on our own lives. We need to expect the unexpected. Every time I switched my perspective to accepting the present moment, everything in my life shifted. Opportunities came in, people came in, these negative emotions, they all left me. When you accept your reality and you accept the present moment, you open yourself up to so many possibilities. You have no idea. We think we know everything. We think we have a plan just because we follow the normal trajectory of what we think our life should be. But if you open yourself up to be surprised, life will surprise you in the best ways and give you things that you didn't even know you wanted in the first place. Next, I would say it's important to understand what you're actually holding on to. Is it an identity? Is it a relationship? Is it a future you thought you would have? Is it the love you gave someone that you're desperately seeking back? What is keeping you stuck in the past? And then let me know if you have the ability to time travel, because if you do, please let me know. I would have liked to cut people off a lot sooner than I actually did. We can't time travel. So what are we holding on to the past for? What are we living in the past for if there is literally no way for us to change it at all? Are you allowing the days to go on where you could be building yourself and growing and healing, living somewhere that you can never go back to? If you're here, you have a purpose, and whatever that purpose is, that is why all of these events in your life end up happening, to draw you closer to yourself and your being. I would love to make a video about this, but I'm also writing a book on this topic, so I'm not going to give too much information right now, but I could definitely make some videos about purpose and aligning with yourself, because this has been one of my biggest lessons in life, to trust yourself and trust your purpose and finding fulfillment in my purpose and the things that I'm doing, which this is one of them. So I can speak from my own experience that your purpose and what fuels your soul up is going to free you from all of this pain and all of this attachment you have to things that you do not actually need. You don't need that job. You don't need that relationship. You don't need that amount of money. You don't need to do all of these things that you think that you need to do. You need to be aligned with you and your truth and be happy doing what makes you happy. If you were made as a human, you have a very important purpose on this earth. We look for so many things outside of us to complete us, and then we end up getting disappointed why they don't, but we never think to turn inward and think that we need to complete ourselves. Everything over here is temporary. Your authenticity is your purpose. It's a way of being. It's not necessarily a job or a certain amount of money you have to be making, but it is you at your core. And that's really scary for a lot of people, because a lot of us have a lot of masks on that we don't even know that we have on, that we try to conform to our community and society. But when you can get into the depths of your authenticity and just shine that, you will see that you literally do not need anything. You don't need to hold on to the past relationship. You don't need to hold on to the past job. You don't need to hold on to the past place that you lived. You can move on and move forward because you know that you got yourself and you are fulfilled no matter where you are in the world and with whoever. If you're stuck in the past, you're holding on to non-acceptance, you're holding on to unhappiness, and all of these emotions are useless. Lastly, for those of you that are struggling to let go of a person like I have been, I would say my best advice is to kill it with love. We live in a generation of men against women, women against men. Everyone's trying to prove that they're better than the other. It's always just like, fuck you to everybody. And can you notice how much pain and anger is in when people make content like this? I'm just like, you're hurt. Like, you are so obviously hurt to me. Trying to prove to your ex that you're better than him, just trying to prove to yourself that you're actually worthy. Being mean to somebody and taking revenge on them and just being nasty to them is actually showing how much pain you're in. Anger is actually a great emotion because it tells us where we're heartbroken. And when we're heartbroken, we hold a lot of grief, and underneath that grief is actually love. Everything in the universe comes back to a source of love. Every guru, every religious teacher, even in scriptures, they will tell you that everything resorts back to love. And anything besides love is just keeping you in a place of pain and holding on to the past. Forgiveness isn't for somebody, it is for yourself. And understanding people's innocence in the world, you see them in a different light. What I mean by understanding other people's innocence is seeing that most people, 99.9% of people, act out of a place of fear. It's very far and few that act out of a place of love. Sending love back to the people that have hurt you is not for them to show how kind and amazing you are, but to show yourself that you can let go and you can move past this. It's showing, hi, I'm grateful for this experience and I'm grateful for the lessons that you taught me, and I can move on now. You won't be able to let go of anything until you can find love for the person or the situation. And I know that's really hard, especially when somebody betrays us, they cheat on us, they hurt us so badly, and they do to us what we would never do to them. But again, understand people's innocence. And when you look at people from a place of innocence and almost like little children that are just running around the world that have no idea what's going on and they're just acting on impulse, they're acting on trauma, you understand that people aren't out to get you like you think they are, and things are not as personal as you think that they are. They're actually not personal at all. I have been betrayed so many times. I have been used. I have given so much to people who definitely did not deserve it, but the more I held on to the pain and the anger of the situations, the more it kept me stuck, the more it kept me constrained, and the more it caused me to project those same feelings onto new situations that would enter my life. That probably could have been good for me, but they weren't, because I was living in the past. It's only when I can find love for myself and for somebody else that I can really stand in my truth of who I am and not fall into these like, oh, do better, screw him, tell him how much you hate him, you know, fuck his favorite rapper. Like, no. Literally, no. The best thing you can do, and what will really confuse them, is if you can stand in a place of love and in your truth and be like, thank you. Thank you for this experience, because you know what? It ended up helping me so much. It brought me closer to myself, and that is the best gift that anybody could ever give you. Love lets us release the situation and fully accept. Alchemizing the pain into love is returning back to yourself and your core being. Everyone's walking around with open wounds that they end up touching each other and bleeding all over the place. You cannot take things personal that people do. Forgive them, they know not what they do. I think that's the only thing I remember from Catholic school. But seriously, you need to understand that when people are acting in a very unloving manner and they're doing things, they're hurting you, they're betraying people, they're not conscious. They're not actually here. And that's when I look at people who have hurt me and I really, really see them for who they are, I see that they're literally just a body that is possessed by a bunch of energies and beings. Their souls are with God already. They're not here. They're not present. They have no idea what embodiment is, because if they're in their body, then they wouldn't be acting like that. But because they're filled with so much pain in themselves, they had to detach and go back to God already. So forgive them, because they don't know what they're doing. And I know that goes contradictory to what I said in my last video when I said people do know what they're doing, but I hope you understand my concept. Some people, you know, they don't have good motives, they don't have good intentions, but that's also coming from a place of their own pain, and it's not as personal as what you think it is. They're trying to fill something within them that they think is lacking, and they just need to go on their pain cycle. You need to let them go on their little, what is that? A hamster wheel, all the way down a hill of pain, 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 pain. But you do not need to be a part of it, my friend. Hurt people that go around and hurt people, they're filled with disease of the mind. They're suffering every single day. You need to believe me on this. Even if you dated a narcissist and you see him move on and he went with somebody else and he has a house with her and he does a whole thing with her, they're on vacation, they're living their best life, those types of people and the people that are hurting people, actively hurting people, they are not happy. No matter what relationship they're in, no matter what situation they get, whether it looks like they're living their best life without you, I can promise you that until somebody has sat there in the pain and come to terms with themselves and why they acted so ungodly towards somebody, they will continue to relive that pain and continue to relive that karma with everybody that comes into their life. So instead, I need you to pray for yourself, to see the situation differently, to see the person differently, and to completely just change your perspective on this, because if your perspective can change, then you can come to a place of love and you can come to a place of acceptance and you can move forward. Pray that one day they find the wisdom of love that you have just found. Let go of the pain of the situation because it is no longer yours to carry. And I say this all the time. Never let somebody turn your heart cold because of what they did to you. Everything that happens after you turn your heart cold and turn sour on the world after what somebody else did for you is you create more of the same experience. You create more heartbreak and you start attracting more people that are also in pain just like you. Like attracts like. So whatever you're attracting, you're actually holding within. If you're a broken person, you're going to attract broken people. If you're insecure with yourself, you're going to attract people that bring out those insecurities. If you don't feel worthy, you're going to attract people who bring out that unworthiness. It is literally a pattern. You must be self-aware and you must see that life really is a game, and you need to be consciously aware. You need to be sharp, and you need to see when the universe is testing you and trying to get you to see something about yourself, especially through the people that it sends you. The thing about holding a space of love is it really does confuse the fuck out of people. They expect you to hold on to the pain because that's all we do. So if someone hurts you and you're just like, thank you, they're gonna literally think you're on drugs. They're gonna be like, why is this person so happy that I did that to them? And they don't understand because they don't know the wisdom that I am sharing with you right now. Tell them that you found a love for life, you found a love for yourself and all it encompasses. Tell them that you have discovered what love is and understand that everything besides love is not real. And because of that, that's why you're so damn happy all the time. Overall, holding on to the pain of the past does absolutely nothing for you. Think of holding on to the pain of the past like re-injecting poison in your body every single day. It's literally waking up in the morning and being like, yes, I'm going to have the worst day of my life because I am not letting go of what has already happened. Nobody gets hurt from holding on to the past except for you. But let it go. Just let it go. Let go of the pain, let go of the suffering, and dedicate today and say to yourself that I am not going to cause any more pain in my life. I'm going to release whatever is holding me back. The only thing about not being able to let go of the past is literally just admitting that you don't want to move forward. You don't want to move forward. And you know, sometimes moving forward is really scary. But understand that if you are in a position now where things have been removed from your life and things are shifting, then something is shifting for your greater good. And sometimes the universe, God, whatever you believe in, knows better than you do. And you need to drop into a place of surrender, which is so hard. And you might resist it at first, but I promise once you can find acceptance, once you can find love, you will be able to move through literally anything that happens. And then once you're in that place, things will just start happening and you won't be attached to anything. Okay, you guys, I know that was a lot of information, but I am so grateful to make this video for you because these are all of the lessons that I have learned from the past few weeks about letting go of the past, letting go of past pain. And I really just want to be here to help you guys. Pray for whoever is just in turbulence of their mind right now and can't seem to move past what has happened to them. It really just is the simple decision that you will not allow this pain to linger any longer. You will not allow these emotions to stay, and you will change your thoughts and change your perspective. And I promise you guys, once you really start praying about a change in perspective, you'll see miracles start to happen all throughout your life. You must choose happiness and you must choose love. I'm praying for you. I'm sending you so much love. You got this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Ew, I'm not doing that anymore. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.